Welcome back to the Valeo Experience YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Giselle in the lovely island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is season 2 and we're looking at resilience, bouncing back. And there are many different challenges we face in our lives, and it is very important that we learn how to navigate through these challenges and get back on our feet. Get back to that place where we are not just surviving, but we are thriving. And it is my pleasure today to have this conversation with a lovely young lady by the name of Afine Simmons. And she's going to describe for us her experience as a survivor and now a thriver of domestic violence. Hi Afine, welcome.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
So I want you to be as relaxed as possible. Make sure that you let your hair down. I see it's up and it's looking well. But nonetheless, we're going to have this conversation today, and I'm thankful that you have agreed to be part of the Valeo Experience, episode on resilience. So tell us, your experience as a domestic violence survivor. Tell us about that.
Well, it came with a lot of challenges, physically, mentally, and spiritually, because coming from a relationship and a home where we were constantly verbally abused, physically abused, mentally abused, and spiritually, in that he did not believe in God. So there was a challenge of my spirituality. So hence I'm saying I was abused in all these aspects. Now it's like a relief. I am at peace. I could breathe finally.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me something. How long was the relationship?
That relationship lasted 12 years and 4 kids.
12 years, 4 kids. And I know many persons looking at this video now would be wondering, how did you endure 12 years, 12 long years, 4 kids? What kept you in that relationship?
Coming from a home where I was abused as a child, sexually and physically, I always, with no father, my father wasn't around, so I always wanted to have my kid's father, or I wanted them to have a nuclear family. And so I would make up an excuse and try to make it work for the kids' sake. It became, at first it was for the kids' sake, and then it became, I was ashamed of what people would say, because we live in a society where everybody would look at the man as a macho man because he's meeting a woman, but the woman would be looked as she did something wrong, and it's something that she did why she deserved all this. Maybe she deserved to get these licks and whatever abuse she went through. And then it became financial dependence because he made me leave my job.
Right.
So it went from dependence for the kids, then just generally being ashamed, and then the financial dependence.
Did you at any time feel like you did something to cause this or create this situation?
Strange enough, no.
Okay. And did you feel the need to fight back in any way?
Always.
Okay. So what stopped you? What happened in that scenario?
I am an overthinker, and my first thought was what would happen to my kids. And coming from an abused childhood, this is something I would never want my kids to go through, or any kids as a matter of fact. So that is what stopped me.
Right. Okay. So then in that moment, you had the knife, you're thinking, I'm going to do this, and you talk yourself out of it, which is good. But then what were the next steps? What happened after that?
The breaking point when I left came when he started to tell the kids, and the abuse went down to the kids, that he would beat them for silly things that were, in my opinion, just what a little bit of talking to, and then preventing them from saying their prayers and telling them that God doesn't exist and things like that. And although I was in an abused home, I grew up in church. And my faith has always been in the Lord. And I've always said God does not allow things to happen if He doesn't have a purpose and a reason for the end.
Right.
So, with this in mind, and knowing how much God has brought me through, I left.
Right. And how long after before you got your children with you, or did they leave with you?
I took them immediately.
Okay. So I would assume then that you mentioned that financial dependency was one of the biggest factors that kept you there during the 12-year period. Now you have left. What happened? How did you get back on your feet?
Well, the good thing is that while I was working, I helped my family a lot. And my sisters moved away. I don't have a sister in siblings. So they help out financially, they provide clothes and make sure that we're okay.
Yeah, so a support network, very important.
Yes.
So you were able to tap into that. And I'm thankful that your family stood by you, in the end to actually give you that push and give you that, that opening to start figuring things out. Now we're at a point where we have had many discussions about domestic violence here in St. Vincent, in the Caribbean, internationally. And if you had the chance, you had a forum just like this, because we expect that this, will be far-reaching. If you had the chance to speak to someone who is in a domestic violence situation now, what would be that thing you will say to them?
Well, it's easy for me to say to you now because I am here, and the hardest thing to do is to leave. The easiest thing to say is to leave. But you first, in order for you to leave, you have to first find that strength within you. Find some place within yourself that you're comfortable with. That you know that if I do this, I'm going to be better off.
Yeah.
I don't deserve this. I deserve better. You tell yourself these things every morning you wake up. You deserve better. Talk to God about it, because my easiest thing was I used to pray and say to God, God, show me a sign. Just show me a sign and just get me out of this situation. And that sign came when He said to my son, stop saying your prayers. God doesn't exist. Jesus had sex with Mary Magdalene, and these are things that I know is different. I know God in whom I believe, and who I prayed to. And I said, this may be my sign. And I called their grandfather and I said, this is what is going on. And he said to me, this is the sign that you needed. And from that day, I didn't tell him that I was leaving. I just packed some clothes and said I'm going with my mom for 2 days because school was on vacation, and I just went back.
Yeah.
It was just, I just never went back. People would talk, and I lost a lot of friends because of that. Because one said to me, if it's me, I'm not going to leave because I left everything. I didn't look back for anything. And they said, you're stupid, you shouldn't leave, you should stay until you get what you deserve. But in my mind, I'm thinking what I deserve. What do I deserve? My death. And then my kids would, because it got so violent that he actually put gas around my leg.
Yeah.
I remember we talked about these things. The things that he would do. And then these are persons that I used to share these things with. And then to hear them saying that to me, I realized these are not people that lead in my life. And that is something that you need to understand too. There are some people that you have to let go. It's not everybody that comes into your life is meant to stay.
That's true.
Some people you have to let them go. And letting go of him, and I'm telling you, we cut every ties.
Wow.
We have no connection with him. We went to the family court for support, and he wasn't paying any. And my brother said, let this go.
Yeah.
I would take care of you financially. And he told the goat, I told the goat I didn't want him to come around. And he said, this goat asked him if he agreed, and he said, yes, so we have no ties. And I'm thanking God. You see, this is where God came in that I asked him to show me a sign, to bring me out of the situation and take me to a better place. And I'm in a better place.
But I'm very happy that you heard, because a lot of the times we ask for signs and we hear things, we see things, but we are not open enough to actually realize it for what it is. And that you acted in obedience by actually moving. And I'm very thankful as well that you got to that place where you could reconnect with family and allow them a chance in your life to actually help you. One of the last things I want to ask you about, and this is a very big thing as it relates to abuse, that persons tend not to realize the importance of forgiveness. Forgiving yourself and forgiving the perpetrator. Where are you as it relates to forgiveness?
Well, today, as you see that big sign, I have forgiven. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to forget.
Yes.
I have forgiven in that he got into some difficulties and told him to call me, and I went. And I said to him, I've forgiven you. I've talked to the kids about it, and I talked to God about it, and I'm so much at peace with myself that it was so easy to forgive.
And you know, it's a real example of strength when the person who hurts you, that you can turn around and actually be there to help them. So I really want to commend you on that. And you know, I just want to encourage you to continue being a voice for other persons who have gone through similar situations. Not many persons can face the camera. Not many persons can actually get to the stage where they can talk about it and be at peace with all that has transpired in their lives. So I really commend you for where you are now in your life and the strength that you have been showing, especially to your children, and I wish you all the very best in this life. I want you to continue to thrive and to go from strength to strength and to prosper, and that every single thing that concerns you, your borders be enlarged. Okay? So thank you so much again, Afine, for being a part of this episode. And one of the things I want to, you know, really important fact is that we all need someone. And many times during difficult situations, we tend to pull away. We pull away from friends and family because, as Afine pointed out, there are moments of feeling ashamed and all of these different things. But keep close, keep a network of persons close to you, because at any given point, we all need to resort to someone that can actually help us through our hurdles. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode, and we will see you again very soon. Take good care. Bye-bye.